Desperado bowlers, this is your last call for Desperado entries. Last call. Alright, bowlers, Desperado entries are closed. Here are your lane assignments. We'll give you just a couple minutes to get to your lanes, and then we will turn you guys on for your warm-up. Again, it is a 2-game shootout. The top 4 after the 2 games will be our final for the 32-player bracket tomorrow. If there are any ties in our Desperado for the last spots, it is broken by 9th and 10th frame roll-off. It is still tied, and we go into some one-ball roll-off. I say this because we have a 100% chance of it always happening every year. So, Lane 1, Ardani Rodas. Lane 1, Calvin Hugger. Lane 2, Kyle Michalowski. Lane 3, Troy Blickenstaff. Lane 3, Garrett Strell. Lane 4, Christine Johnston. Lane 5, Tim Eichhorn. Lane 6, Tyler Milbrand. Lane 7, Kyle King. Lane 8, Nathan Kaiser. Lane 9, Brandon Knapp. Lane 10, Justin Golden. Lane 11, Chris Silva. Lane 12, Corian Aka. Lane 13, Alex Z. Lane 14, Jonathan Mayer. Lane 15, Josh Anthony. Lane 16, Patrick Kiefer. Lane 17, Michael Harsey. Lane 18, Matthew Holmes. Lane 19, Felipe Esbrew. Lane 20, Ryan Howard. Lane 21, Brandon Moss. And lane 22, Aaron Carabell.
Really?
6 p.m. squad bowlers, if you have money coming back, we are ready to pay you out. We're going to get some letters up there for you guys, and we'll get you guys started on your little one. You guys can adjust surfaces if you need to. And charcoal as well. Once again, it will be the top 4 off of the Desperado. It is a 2-game shootout. We'll be bringing the score sheets down momentarily. Right lane will still go right, left lane will still go left. The Desperado, you're going to skip 2 pairs. So if you're on lane 2, you're going to be moving to lane 8.
on to make it up. Just let it roll. Let it get there. Don't force it there.
All right, bowlers, your score sheets are down there, so if you don't know where you go to your next game, it is on the score sheet with the lane assignments. It's again 2-game shootout. Top 4 will make the finals for tomorrow, which will start promptly at 8 a.m. for the first round matches. And go, group up.
Thanks, man.
All right, Desperado. We've got 24 players. 24 for 2 games. And I have no idea what's going to happen. But that's always the intrigue of the Desperado. But I can tell you if you shoot 230, that'd be pretty okay. Now I'm trying to remember, when was the, shoot, what Desperado was it? It's funny, that's how many I've seen now. A lot of Desperados. But Christine Johnston, I think it might have been the Agent On.
Christine made the Desperado here.
Hey, that's what it is. So
Yep.
I'm like, she got in.
She was in the roll-off
That's what it
in
is.
Desperado. Yep. Oh, I'm going to actually pull up the history here.
I was looking for the Desperado history, but I couldn't find it. But it probably was a separate tournament bowl, huh? Yep. There it is.
Right there. So last year's Desperado, we had Kyle Duster, Tim Eichhorn, who's bowling here again, Brian Bledsoe, and Christine Johnston and Brandon Knapp.
Yes, I knew Brandon looked familiar to me.
Yep. They had a roll-off, and Brandon won the roll-off.
Yeah, Rep, that's a great point you mentioned. This is why coffee exists. Although I only had 1 cup, and I didn't even get a chance to drink it all. It was removed, unfortunately. But shout out to Bree for bringing a little caffeine this morning. Well, I like Garrett Strail's look. He's moved a little further right over on 3 and 4.
Speaking of Garrett Strail, himself and Sarah Clausen tied at the Agent On Desperado.
That's what it is.
Yep. And then Garrett won the Desperado roll-off there. We're 3 for 3 on tournaments I've ran with Desperados.
Well, it's not happening tonight.
No, I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, we're getting out of here.
But we said that last year too.
I'm calling it. It's not happening tonight. Well, as you might anticipate, folks, at this point, you're just seeing a ton of stuff. We got some folks playing in. I mean, if Kyle can find any kind of level of consistency, any kind, I would just take his chances or like his chances simply because of the talent level.
So speaking of talent level and Desperados, the first year, listen to this talent that made it off the Desperado. Kyle King, Jacob Buttriff, Cortez Schenk, Michael Fitzgerald. And that year we
Really?
took, yes. And that year we took 5 from the Desperado.
I don't remember that.
Yep, that year we took 5 from the Desperado, and we had a tie for the last spot with Chris Silva and Frank Guccione.
I remember Frank, though.
Yep, and Chris is bowling right now.
Yes,
I
he
think
is.
Chris won the roll-off against Frank.
I remember
to get
that.
in. Yep.
I remember that part. I don't remember Jacob Butcher bowling a Desperado. I do remember Cortez bowling, though.
Yeah. It's pretty wild when those guys got in.
Right. I don't remember Fitz bowling Desperado. Kyle gave it a run.
Yeah, I think in this format, when it's just a 2-game shootout, you have to give every split a run. You can't just take one and move on because you don't have very many games to make up for it.
Bill Brandt. Tyler bowled at 12:30 today. Came back to simply bowl Desperado. Lickenstaff to our left. Troy shot 231. He reminds me of, he looks like Jeffrey Young to me.
I could see that. I could see it.
Okay, Tyler. It's 2 very good shots. Again, top 4 will advance from the Desperado. Desperado.
Oh, I forgot to play it during warm-up. I got sidetracked. You know, I'm exhausted from being here all day, but then I look at some of these players, and they've bowled 16 games already today. Animals. I can't do it anymore.
Corrine Acuff, one of these notables bowling in the Desperado. She is on 11 and 12. Ardani Rodas, who was about 2 frames away, really 1, from not having to bowl a Desperado. He would have maintained his spot in the top 7, but boy, did it get funky. And the D squad, game 8.
I noticed that a couple guys kind of backed into that cut number.
Tell you, it was much different than the other squads, where we had people pulling out big games, back 7s to get in. This was a survive and advance.
Yeah.
Like Alec Johnson literally survived in advance.
And he shot 140, right?
Yes.
And well, Chris Clark shot 180.
182
to back into it.
Survive in advance.
Yep. Just wow, because all the other cuts went up that last game.
Alec Johnson's, though, was, I think, more just because he was in front of us, A. And then B, it was so, it felt much more severe, right? Because he had a nice cushion on 6th place. There was a tie for 6th, so he basically had a cushion on 2 players. 39 pins was the cushion. And then he almost lost it.
It's pretty wild. Goes away really quick after a split or an missed makeable. Especially when they're this hard, your chances of getting a 4-bagger to make it up are very slim.
Kyle, I mean, honestly, he looks just like Jeffrey Young. I mean, similar stature, height, etc. Obviously, one's one-handed, one is two-handed. But I bet if Jeffrey Young was two-handed or Troy Blickenstaff was one-handed, they'd look more alike. Jeffrey Young used to drill a couple of bowling balls for me when I was living in Texas.
Oh, wow. I've had some matches with Jeffrey in my day.
Uh-oh. Look out. That's a hurdle there from Tyler. Brandon Knapp. Well, here comes Brandon Knapp. Well, I know you can't only bowl the Desperado, but perhaps Brandon simply just wants to bowl the Desperado.
Just pay the entry, bowl one game, and then just come back to the
That's right.
Desperado.
That would be legal. Knapp's on 9 and 10, and just left 3-6 though. But he's one of the players who could be in a very good spot after one game. Doing a quick scan, not seeing much on the high end, but not much is kind of a good thing, if that makes sense. And if you get a ton of 2-0s, then for those particular players, that's exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, typically 2-0, 2-10 is pretty good in our Desperados. And I think it's going to be around the same this time as well. Chris Silva, one of our prior Desperado qualifiers, and then with a 3-bagger.
Boy, Tim is in as a lefty.
Yeah. He's got to be right at that big dot that's down there. As a fellow lefty, you know, you can kind of get nosebleeds when we get that far over.
When's the last time you got that far right?
Actually, my summer league, I've been that far right. But we've bowled on Red Square and Weber, so I've kind of forced myself to add a tool to my game that was not previously there, so. I agree, Kyle. I'd love to see Jeffrey come out here.
If you are still up watching this Desperado, and a decent amount of you are, you appreciate it. It means you love Theo, you love bowling, or you have a rooting interest. All three can be true, or just one, or zero. You can't sleep, and this is your white noise for the night.
They may just like watching torture.
Some people are. Some people have that gene in them, yes. I always find it interesting where, and to me.
Oh, Kyle.
Uh-oh. It's got to be a little bit of a mental switch for some people, right? Where it's obviously different, and you have to turn it on quickly in the 2-game situation. I feel like just some players, I don't know, I feel like some perform like you just watch the same player for 8 games all of a sudden. And I know they might be in a situation lane play wise where it's a little bit more favorable, like they found something at the end of the block or whatever.
Right.
And that's if they just bowled. Right. If they had bowled earlier, you know, then they just get back on the lane. But I feel like some players be like, all right, 2 games, I'm ready for this quick challenge, if you will. Like the real world, or what is it, rolled rules? This today's challenge, the Desperado. Bowl 2 games for your tournament life.
Justin Golden's got a 4-bagger going. Ah, he just split.
When you feel like you got something, and then all of a sudden it's so easy, obviously, to go through the nose, miss right, left, etc. Talked about that. green 2 pins on 11 and 12. Ardani Rodas. I mentioned now, I like his chances. I felt like he had a decent look at what was happening. Is that an old blue hammer he's throwing?
Yeah, it looks like an original.
Wow.
OG.
He's Brett Wolfing it out here. Okay. Blickenstaff, that's a big double to our left. Some missed single pins out here.
Those are going to be the difference, I think. It's not the splits. I think it's going to be the missed single pins. It's going to get people. Those are the ones that you look back on the most. You know, I mean, splits you get as much as you can from it, but giving away single pins, that's not ever, doesn't ever put you in a good mood. So trip 6 there from Tim Eichhorn.
Aaron Strail, big double. He got a chance to get to 243.
I've loved watching the growth and success of Garrett Strail because he's bowled my stuff now for a couple of years. And when he first started, I mean, he was out there getting his butt kicked. And just seeing how much time and effort he's put into his game. Kid's gotten really good.
C Lance in the chat says it's 8 a.m. wherever they are.
Wow.
Well, appreciate you tuning in. Early morning. Well, it is 11:09 in Sun City, Arizona. But there are some people still up watching this in the Eastern time zone of the United States, where it is 2:09 a.m. Blickenstaff in the 170s with the spare. Wanted to show you that because I thought Christine Johnson, boy, she had a chance. Still does. Spares would be clutch here. C. Lance watching from Sweden.
Wow. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, boy. $173 there for Christine. Meanwhile, Mr. Knapshot, 228.
Desperado King.
Yeah, if he makes it again, I mean, might have to just claim the nickname.
Yeah.
And be okay with it.
Might just have to go with that theory you said. Bowl a game, come back for the Desperado.
Push.
Ooh, good break.
So Brandon Knapp. $228. If Strail can spare a strike, that would put him at 222. Josh Anthony.
Does he have 2-0 or 230 going down there?
That could be
Can't see that
250.
far. Really?
I'm probably tripping. Yeah, I am. 228 looks like.
28. Okay.
Let me double check.
And we got another possible 220 on lane 11 also. Emil's taking a stroll to check how the higher end scores are finishing up down there. Chris Silva's got a chance at 225 if he strikes out in the 10th. Corrine got the first one. She got a chance at 191. And 191, I mean, if you're in the 190 range, you still got a really solid shot at it, so. Garrett Strell finished with a 220, 220. So he should be in the top 4 with that. So Kareem's going to finish with a 181. What do we get to down there?
All right, so there is a 248 on the board.
Oh, wow.
I could not tell who it was from. The last person to leave that pair was Matthew Holmes. He was removing his items to the to his next pair, but I could not confirm if it was his score or not.
What lane was it on?
It was on 17 and an 18, I believe.
Let's see if we can get Mr. Yamamoto to let us know. Who had the 240?
Then Josh Anthony, 226.
226, okay. So he should be sitting in 3rd then. His Knapp had 28, Strell had 220. Chris Silva's doubled in the 10th. He's got a chance at 225. I think there's another 225 on the pair next to Silva. Matthew Holmes with the 248. That's huge.
I've been talking about him all day. But I like the cool, again, don't see it a ton. One-handed, one-hand thumbless player.
Oh, okay. So Silva finished with 222. I don't know who had, somebody had a 225, or is that a 228? Is that Brandon Knapp's 228 down there?
No, Knapp was on like 9 and 10. That's still Josh Anthony's score. That's still up, that 226.
Oh, is that Josh Anthony on 11 and 12? Or
yeah, I think that was him.
Okay.
13 and 14.
13, 14. You're right. Somewhere down there.
I could be wrong though, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, they're no, 13 and 14. You're right.
It's all kind of. What's the skip for this?
They're skipping 2 pairs. Where they cover a little more ground. Oh, got a bunch up there.
Ton of folks making the quick move.
I think right now 4th is 222 from Chris Silva.
Yeah, I agree, Kyle. I said earlier, though, like Matt Holmes, I don't know how old he is, but he's pretty young.
Yeah.
So to see a young player adopt that style is pretty, I won't use the word unique, but I think it is a little bit rare to see a young player with a one-handed thumbless style, as opposed to obviously someone like Jim Pratt, Mike Millers of the world, Tom Doherty. Chris Silva looks okay.
I love the old school jersey design that he's got too. Matt Holmes down there.
I mean, my guy's been working it. He's got a brand already. Got the jersey. A haircut.
I love the mullet.
And one hand thumbless.
I could never pull off a mullet, but it looks awesome.
And Carabel, look at what he shot. I felt like he wasn't too bad down the stretch.
He had 161. So he needs a lot. All right, we got scores here. So there was another 226. So our leader is Matt Holmes, 248. Brandon Knapp, plus 28. Jonathan Mayer, plus 26. And Josh Anthony, plus 26. And then right behind him, we have Chris Silva, plus 22. Garrett Stroll, plus 20. And I would honestly say, I mean, probably all the way down to Troy Blickenstaff at minus 21, maybe even Patrick Kiefer and Kyle King at minus 24 have a really solid chance. So
Just drop the Desperado standings link in the chat. It's also pinned now atop the chat. Make sure you got that open.
first match will start at 8 a.m.
First matches start at 8 a.m., folks.
Our qualifiers that are in the first match think it's way too early, but I don't want to hear it.
8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were both here around 6 this morning.
About average. 8 o'clock sounds like a normal time for a bowling tournament.
Yeah. Well, our leader started off with a split in the first frame and now a crumble to leave a 5-pin. Crumbled a few pins, leave a 5 only. Josh Anthony with a split, strike, split. He's struggling also, so anything can happen in these things.
Was it trying to remember last year we were talking about Corrine. I felt like she had to go to work
She did. She's a nurse.
last year, right?
Yep. I think she bowled 2 squads and then bowled the Desperado and went straight to work for an overnight shift.
And then I think if she had, she didn't advance in the Desperado.
Correct.
But if she did,
she's going to be back right
she would have
away.
came back after her shift
Yeah.
to bowl and wouldn't have had 0 hours of sleep.
She's an animal. I don't know how she does it.
Uh-oh. Look out. That's just might be a little fatigue right there.
Yeah. Aaron looks like he's got a little look on this pair.
Brandon Knapp, he's okay. He's in the 1-3. But Kyle King just, everything has got a 2-pin with it. He's down on 1 and 2, just left the 2-8.
It's very rare I see Kyle struggle as much as I've seen him struggle this evening.
It's definitely a little strange.
Yeah. That was some interesting pinfall there for Christine Johnston. She had a bucket and crumbled everything forward except for the 8-pin. It just kind of fell. Interesting.
Matt Holmes is over on 1 and 2. He's in the bottom right of your screen. He's in the lead currently after shooting 248. Robbie Patterson in the chat saying 10 a.m. Theo. Lemon Hammer's asking, is someone to consider the viewers when making these scheduled times? Got to wake up early to watch match play.
We'll be going for a while tomorrow.
We sure will. I'll be honest with you. Selfishly, I'm good. So that allows me to get home at night.
Get back home to the fam.
Although I am doing something a little different. I'm not taking a red eye tomorrow. I've got an 8:15, so I don't like to rush during teardown. It's kind of my decompression moment. I might be zipping through just to make sure. Some tough starts for a lot of people here in game 2. One of them, though, is not Matthew Holmes. I'm just going to be honest with you. If Matthew Holmes makes this Desperado, I think he wins his first match.
Think so? On the fresh? I don't know how he did on the fresh. I'll take a look here.
I thought his fresh was a little better. I thought he was a little better this afternoon or this evening.
So
Saw him use a different bowling ball. It kind of read the spot nicely.
I mean, I think he's definitely going to have a better idea. He started off struggling. I mean, he struggled kind of the whole block, but he had 2-0, 150, 160, 180.
Now I feel like because he could end up bowling, like, let's say take Matt for example. We were chatting. I think at the time, like, Matt would technically have been like the 70 or the 17th seed based on overall total, which would mean he would bowl whoever finishes 4th here in this Desperado.
Correct. Yep.
But I don't know. I think I just, like, for me, watching enough bowling, you just start to catch a few vibes from certain players. And I just feel like if he gets in, it's just all right, we're in. Like, I did what I had to do. Took some extra games, some extra time. And then it's kind of like, in the 3-game total pinfall match, I mean, that's just more than enough time for someone to be like, you catch a little bit of a look. You get into the match play vibe of things. And the quote-unquote upsets can happen.
Absolutely. And that's, I love the format because I think it's where we kind of discover some guys that are kind of breaking out. Like we mentioned yesterday with
BP.
With Ben Perry, yeah. I had no idea who he was till the first year.
Ben Perry said today, I talked to him, said it was his first interview. That's what he told me.
Wow.
His first interview. He said, well, it won't be the last.
No, he's a good kid. Very nice.
Everything that you guys had said about him, and then that everyone was saying also in the chat, in my 5 minutes talking with him, I could see it all.
He's a very humble, super nice guy.
He talked hard about the process and the hard work.
Yep. He's one of the B3 products.
I could see that. I like young Alex too. He's got a bright future. Trying to figure it out right now. He's got a bright future. Josh Anthony, he came over and referenced, I forgot what the bottom of your thumb is called, like that little, where the webbing meets. But you know, some people, you can get a little callus area there, but he came over and referenced that, so he might be in a little bit of trouble in that area on his thumb. Don't want to give all his pins back though. He did shoot 226.
Just trying to turn this game around. He's got a little double down there. I think he was another qualifier at the Agent Ong Desperado.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
And our thing with him that day or that weekend was he ended up talking with Schlim, I think, and they were just kind of just talking about like some of the things he had experienced during his qualifying squads, and ended up making some adjustments and advancing through. I think he won a couple of matches, I feel like, on Sunday.
I think he did. I think he made it out of the cashier's round and won.
Yeah.
Won a little bit, yeah.
I just found out he was a GM today.
Yep.
Is that you who told me that?
No.
Okay, then I don't even remember who told me that.
Wasn't me, but yeah, he's one of the GMs of one of the independent centers out here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Might be time to take a look at 134 because it's about to go down.
Brandon Knapp staying hot.
That's why, bro, you just got to go to sleep. You got to do it. I feel like we're having the same conversation. Had the same convo last year somehow, man. Where you did the same thing, young round, gave some insight on the broadcast, and then you were still here watching Desperado for a little bit. Uh-oh, Matt Holmes missed a 2-8. Still in decent position, though. Nice little cushion to work with.
He's going to use every bit of that 240 cushion. Kyle King's trying to make something happen. He can punch for 238, I think.
One and two real quick here. Matthew Holmes. Wow, that one just rolled right out. Uh-oh. I remember Ryan Howard from last year. He had a game of 260 plus earlier during the qualifying squad. Holmes trying to dig deep here. Give it a run. 191 now the max. Kyle King.
I feel like if Matt can double in the 10th, he's going to be in safe.
King at -24. Ryan Howard was -12. Another 2-pin for Kyle. I mean, it's just been 2-pin city for him.
I know Christine didn't have the best first game, but she's got a pretty impressive game going on over there. Talk about a spare shooter.
Brandon Knapp is just about there. He made it. Made it a little closer than he would have preferred.
My kid's still up, wondering where I'm at.
I've been there. Oh boy.
Oh.
It's okay. We'll keep him at what, plus 27? If he gets 2 here, that's plus 27. So 198
So
for Knapp.
Josh is going to be out of it. Shot 145.
Matthew Holmes just struck on the first shot of the 10th. A quick look at Kyle Michalowski. Where was Kyle at? He's minus 34.
Yeah, 166 game 1.
He'll shoot 215, 213. Michalowski shoots 213.
John Mayer's in the clubhouse with plus 27.
Well, he's now 1 pin ahead of Brandon Knapp.
He told me earlier he's tired of missing cuts. The first year barely missed by a couple pins. Last year barely missed by a little bit.
Alex at minus 13. Get him to even 180 for Matthew Holmes.
Thank you.
So he's at plus 28. Knapp at plus 26. And Mr. Mayer at plus what, 27?
Yep. Garrett Strell's in with plus 13.
Uh-oh. Oh, my. Just off, excuse me, off camera there. Alex could have struck out for 213. Would have got him to even.
Did you get Matt Holmes in at plus 28? Yep.
We got a plus 28, a plus 27, and a plus 26. There was a chance for young Alex. Yes, he does, Coco Jim.
Oh, we got another plus 28. Ardani Rodas.
Stop it.
That's leading.
We're not doing this tonight.
They're leading. They're in.
They're okay. All right. I'm going home or to my place, my room tonight. Not staying here. Not staying here tonight. So we got 2 at plus 28, a plus 27, and a plus 26. So based off that logic, plus 26 is currently fourth.
I think so.
And would be Mr. Knapp, but it wouldn't shock me if somebody snuck in here.
To get to plus 26.
Absolutely.
Keep us here a little longer, right?
There's no more bowling balls going down the lane. So we're probably awaiting the official Theo announcement. Get those score sheets down here.
I'm just waiting for the final scores.
Well, he's saying you're going to be fourth, but by a lot.
Plus 26 might be it, folks.
Might be it. We're waiting on the last couple scores. I'm going to jump off here and yell at these guys to bring.
That's right. There's one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's Brandon. We got him. Right now, folks, plus 27. I'm sorry, plus 26.
Just waiting on two score sheets from Troy Blickenstaff and Patrick Keeper, please. Whoever said roll off, you take that back.
Roll off. Right here. 173. For Troy.
Final one's coming up.
Have a good one, bro.
We don't believe there's a tie, folks.
There's a tie for first, though.
It's a fair point, though. We still technically had a tie.
All right, Desperado bowlers. We have our final four qualifiers for tomorrow morning's. All right, finalists. Your leaders tied at plus 28 are Donnie Rodas and Matthew Holmes. Matthew had the higher game, so it'll be the 29 seed. In third at plus 27, Jonathan Mayer, and fourth at plus 26, Brandon Knapp.
Mr. Desperado.
Make sure you guys are here and ready to bowl at 8 a.m. sharp tomorrow morning. Thank you to everybody.
Brandon Knapp is the number. Makes the Desperado squad again at the Cactus Classic. You know, shout out to our Donnie Rodas, though, because he lost his spot in the 6 p.m. squad in the final game. And comes right back here. I felt pretty decent about his look, even though he shot a low game. But the last few frames I thought were a little better, especially thinking about the Desperado situation. So he's in. Matthew Holmes is in. Telling you, watch out for that dude tomorrow. And Mr. Jonathan Mayer. Good for him. John Mayer is in. He's going to change the world. Still waiting on the world to change. Well, he's in. So the world is changing. And then Brandon Knapp. That split doesn't cost him. Plus 26. Garrett Streel just outside that number, plus 13. Chris Silva finishes at plus 2. And with that, folks, there is no tie. Although, tie for the final spot, but we did have a tie. And with that said, I'll give you just one quick look at the standings, just so you can see what they do look like before we head off the air for this evening. There are some excited individuals. There are some disappointed individuals. There is your top 4, of course, of the Desperado. But now we've got 32 players. The bracket is now officially complete. We've got those who have earned 2-round buys. We've got those who have earned 1-round buys. So at 8 a.m. tomorrow, we will see the seeds from 17 through 32. And all of those matches certainly will be very good. We'll have several, of course, across our Bowl TV, our Bowl Stream TV camera range. Of course, our primary will be 5 through 8, still picture-in-picture, and either 1 through 4, 9 through 12, and then, of course, jump to whichever one of those pairs or groups is getting down to it. With match play, 3-game total pinfall, we'll probably spend at least a game or so in a group, then jump over and take a look at what's happening in another group, and then kind of come back to what's happening, and then trying to time them all, hopefully, in the proper finishing moment. So big thanks to Michael Fitzgerald. He joined us at the back half. I'm sorry, the beginning of D Squad. Matt Zweig handled the back half. Appreciate them. Theo Duthay. Shout out to Mike Dertmeyer. We'll see Mike tomorrow. He'll be on the computer, making sure scores are all right and updated. And I might be able to get to talk to him about something in particular as well. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. That's going to do it for us. I appreciate everybody for hanging out, especially if you're in the Eastern time zone. You are wonderful. Shout out to everybody in Sweden who was taking a look this morning. Have a good day, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night in Sweden, of course, but we'll be right back at it here in just a few hours. That's going to do it for me. We will see you in the morning, again, 8 a.m. local time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Central, and 11 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you to all of our sponsors, EFX, Team Agent Ong, Ramsey Auto Center, Bro Dogs, of course, that's Theo's Hot Dog Spot, Hot and Fresh, Chuck's Painting, True Amateur Tournaments, Desert Southwest, and Brunswick. For all involved, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We'll see you tomorrow morning for match play. Someone's going to win $10,000 tomorrow. You can follow along, of course, and find out who is going to take home that title. By the way, the last 2 champions, Darren Tang and Jacob Buttriff, both have advanced to match play. So will it be one of those individuals? Can Jacob Buttriff repeat? Can Darren Tang reclaim the title, or will we have a new champion? We'll find all of that out tomorrow. Until then, you guys be safe, be well. This has been a presentation of the 2024 CBE 10K Classic, Cactus Classic. You watched it live and only on Bowl Stream TV. Good night.